You know, Lisa, when you were talking earlier, and yesterday also, there's also the idea of try to listen without the intellect, right? Without the mind.
Yeah, but even that would be something that the mind does.
Because the mind can't listen to anything.
No, the mind can't listen to anything. It's the end of the mind believing, or the end of that belief that goes with the mind, that that is the reality. The mind doesn't listen. Thoughts don't hear. There is hearing. Thoughts don't hear and then interpret. That's all to do with believing that you are this imagination of somebody that exists somewhere up around maybe the head or the back of the head. That person, that story that you believe you are, never heard anything. That person that you believe you are is a thought arising in seeing, in hearing, in feeling, in smelling, in perception.
Yeah, that's beautiful, because it's already the case. It's not like future or I have or the end of this.
Yeah.
It's just already the case.
Who you are is this touch, is this sound. It's not this imagination of a story, this imagination of somebody that's listening to Lisa. There is nobody listening to Lisa. There's hearing, sight, sound, smelling. And all of it's being perceived. And then for some, and then in some rises this story of somebody that apparently exists in space and time, that's apparently listening to Lisa, apparently getting something from Lisa. Nothing's being got from Lisa. That's the story. That's a story that exists in thoughts. It's this, it's that resonance. And I know there, Laurenti, there's a resonance, there's a hearing of this and a resonance, there's an in-loveness with some of the words that's happening. It's not even the words, it's just there's a falling away of that belief in the story. And then maybe the story comes up and goes, oh no, I hate this and I don't want this, or there's resistance. And then momentarily there's a falling away of that. Even that, what Lisa's saying now, is a story.
Yes.
Not even to be held on to. There's just perceiving. And in perceiving, nothing's happening. Perception is no thing, and yet this dream of everything appears in that no-thingness. There's nothing happening in seeing. It's absolute stillness, absolute silence, and absolute in-loveness. But not as in-loveness as an emotion. Everything is accepted because it is. Absolute perfection. Nothing was ever out of line. Everything was exactly as it was meant to be. When there's a belief that anything is out of line, there's a playing in the intellect, in stories, in thoughts. If you could not think, how could anything be out of line? There is something wrong only exists in thoughts. And all love songs, like the songs where they're singing about being in love with someone, it's funny because really they're talking about being in love with this. But the mind believes that it's in somebody else. The whole world is obsessed with the love story, because really what they're seeking for is home, which is absolute love. But the closest the majority come to experiencing that is when they find another. Because when they find another, the seeking for another falls away, and momentarily there's a seeing of that true love in which you are. Nothing was ever needed. There was a belief that anything in the flow of life, any story, so the story of the lover, the story of having children, of having a big house, whatever the dream is, while those dreams are in play, then there'll always be a seeking in space and time and in storyland. When it's seen that who you truly are is absolute love, game's over.
Will you repeat just that? It just cut here.
It's echoing again, my love.
Oh, that's why.
When it's when there's a belief that any story in space and time will fulfill you in any way, will give you that love. So getting the mansion, the money, the record deal, being in Hollywood, whatever it is, having kids, a lover. Well, there's any belief in stories in space and time that they will in some way fulfill you or complete you, then the game will carry on. When it's seen that who you are is everything that's always wanted, that who you are when there's no longer seeking for anything in those stories, when it's seen that you are absolute love, the game's over. The game is over. This is enough. Just this. It always has been. And it's always known. This was never forgotten. It's just a focus, if you could call it that, went on the seeking. And the seeking is so loud, the voice inside the apparent head is so loud. And it says, this isn't enough, more is needed. I need to get liberated in the future. I need to release my karma. I need to get money or sex or whatever it is. Or Tony Parsons to give me attention, or speak to this person or speak to that person or go on this retreat or that retreat. This is enough.